Today we're going to talk about Meta Blueprint. However, we're going to talk about it from the perspective of going through the steps that I outlined previously. So you have Meta Blueprint. What is it? You have Meta Blueprint. Why is it for me? You have Meta Blueprint, how to study, and then you have Meta Blueprint, you pass, now what? All those videos are on my channel. However, one thing that I'm doing next week is doing my about fourth or fifth renewal. It comes every 2 years, but I got a letter saying they wanted it to do it after a year, which I thought was strange, but it is what it is. So I'm doing the renewal after 1 year, which is totally cool. One thing I noticed is a lot of the guidance or a lot of the pointers I give are very focused on Meta Blueprint, but they're not focused on development, right? And it's one thing to get this test and everything, but it's another thing to know what to do after you pass, right? That's the problem or a conundrum that actually got revealed to me through a friend that I helped. And that's, if you see here, it says story at the top. So my conundrum was I had a buddy that we used to work together. He was gotten into real estate, and the real estate market, of course, everybody knows it, it's soft. The Fed has said they're not going to drop rates for 2024. They're going to drop it 2025 for Q1 after the election. So what does that mean? That means there's no lending in the economy, right? Like people are not lending. People are not lending for mortgages. They're not lending to build houses. They're not lending to do small projects, which fuels construction. They're not lending for cars. And yeah, there's lending, but there's not those great rates that we had before that spurred a lot of the economy, which helps fuel these larger purchases like cars and homes. So that's going to come Q1 2025. So my friend, he was in real estate, comes to me and he says, hey, right now is a really tough time. I know I've seen your videos and we know each other. We worked well together, like I said, about 10 years ago. And, I would love to, possibly start a side hustle. If anything, I think it'd be a great time to really put my, face to the ground and really learn this. And so actually do a lot of consulting for real estate agents and real estate places, and so, or brokerages, I should say. And I thought that was brilliant. I was like, man, if there's anybody that's a better qualified PPC buyer for real estate agents, it's a real estate agent, right? So I think that for everything from selling those services to packaging those services to the benchmarks to, who the audience is, brilliant. I couldn't even plan that better. I was like, that's smart. So we took him through my process. All the videos, everything worked well. Like, he watched the videos, and I think he's even watching this now. And I wouldn't be shocked. And we take him through those preliminary videos, all 4 videos, and he tells me he's passed them. He passes on the first try, the Meta Blueprint planning, Meta Blueprint buying. Awesome, thumbs up. I even think I mentioned him in the video. You passed, now what? I think that's the video where I mentioned him, and I was so proud of him. And I was very proud. And so I had to go visit my mom for a month. I visit my mom probably 30 days at a time, if that, and visit my mom and my stepdad. And I was staying with her for about a month, and I came back to LA, and we're going. I tried to get a hold of him, couldn't get a hold of him, and I finally reached him, and I'm like, hey man, what's going on? Let's connect. Let's do all this. And I have to admit, I got the lousiest attitude I think I've ever seen in my life. And I'm just like, wait, hold on. What's going on? Like, we just passed. You said you're going to do a LinkedIn. You said you're going to do like a site. You said you're going to follow your LLC. You're going to start an Upwork profile, a Fiverr profile, start getting those crap jobs out of the way so you can start making more. And he comes to me and says, hey man, and I do know somebody reached out to him to work to do a job, I think. And that was through LinkedIn, and he said no to it. And he was like, I just don't want to do this. I just don't want to start, I just don't want to start at the bottom and all this shit, all this stuff. And I was just like, my friend, and I don't think I ever shared some of my stories. And this is where I think I need to actually begin sharing them. When I first started in Upwork, my first job, my friends, was $2 an hour. $2 an hour. That was 2 years ago, and I was unemployed, and I was starting my agency. My agency started. I had a VA, who's Rena, who's now the YRV, that's at the bottom here. She's the R in that. I'm the Y. I'm Yosef. Her boyfriend, future husband, is the V. And so we're all co-founders, and I'm the lead founder. But at the time, she was my VA. And so I was hustling for work on Upwork. And I found this, my first job was a pastor for a church who needed help on his Instagram shop. And I had to build out his campaigns, and we had to jerry rig some ads and all sorts of stuff. $2 an hour. Do you know how many hours I worked? 6, 7, 8 hours. I probably worked all weekend, probably 7, 8, 10 hours on the weekend to help him. And I got paid, I think, $15. And that sucked. That was terrible. And that was my first job. But you know what the next job after that? It was $7 an hour. Do you know what the next job after that was? $14 an hour. The next job after that, $25. The next job after that, $35. The next job after that, $40. The next job after that, $50, $60. Now I'm working on retainers. I don't even do stuff by the hour anymore. That's how I started. And that took 6 months to really get out of that rut. But I knew that was, from everything I saw, that's what I had to do. And that's what I'm talking about, Blueprint. Blueprint does not automatically grant you an $800,000 a year job. If you believe that, you are smoking something. No, that's not what it does. Meta Blueprint is, you know who it's for? It's for you. Do you think most clients even know what Meta Blueprint is? Do you even think any buyers outside of the people that are watching this that kind of know what it is? I doubt they do. It's for you. It's for you to be able to establish that benchmark of basic buying with advanced strategy. That's what it is. It's actually an advanced strategy advanced strategy credential. But it teaches you the basics in terms of a foundational vocabulary that you can explain things from Facebook to a client. That's what it does. By no means are you going to go out there and get 100. If that was true, I wouldn't work for peanuts. And that's what I had to do, my friends. And I'm telling you, and do you think he knew what Meta Blueprint was? Do you think the lady who paid me 7 to 14, that was actually one client, I got a raise to 14. Do you think she knew what Meta? Couldn't care less. They just wanted performance, right? Meta Blueprint is for you. It is for you to make sure that you have the basic knowledge and understanding to solve problems. That's what it's for. And do you know what works better with Meta Blueprint? Testimonials, case studies, that crafting that story about who you are as a buyer. That's what's going to get you your gigs. And that's what I had to do. I got nothing but 5-star ratings until I pushed through $35 an hour. And that was a 3 or 4 or 5 month process where I was taking crap gigs. And man, that was not a fun time. And it was a very scary time. Luckily, I pushed through and I was able to finally establish my agency. And that was a very scary time. And also what I learned on Meta Blueprint, I was able to adapt on Google Ads. The Google Ads people hate to hear this. They hate to hear it, but it's true. If you Google, how does the ads manager on Google is looking more like social? It's a thing. You can go ahead and Google it. I believe search engine marketing talks about that as well. And it's becoming more user-friendly. It's actually becoming more AI-based where you don't have to even enter that much. It does it for you. Do you know where you have to know what to do? It's on the events and the conversion tracking. That's where you'll win. And the same thing goes for Meta Blueprint. Do you think it's becoming more automated? It's really understanding the CAPI, understanding the pixels, understanding your strategic arrangement to get the return on investment. Learn that on Meta Blueprint. So going back to my friend, he kind of laid into me, and I never heard from him again. And it was the most insulting probably process. I think he's probably watching this. I was very disappointed, but I really want to iterate that it's not Meta Blueprint alone. You, at this point in this economy, I hope no one is canned. I hope no one that you know or you are laid off. If you are, you have something in your in your toolkit, like a certification where you're able to adapt it and start a side hustle, or you should be starting a side hustle now. So once you do get laid off, you're able to work, and put food on the table. So you need to do this. You need to show that you're better than the other 95% of buyers out there, because I promise you, I'd be shocked if it was even 5% of all buyers were even certified. It's probably less than that. Your competition is not doing this. They are not doing this. If they are, you don't want to give them that edge. That's what I'm saying. So if they aren't doing this, that's cool. If they are doing this, you have to go the extra mile to have the case studies and the reviews and the testimonials. And like I said, those case studies, man, those are golden. You have to make sure those are all together plus your certification. That's how you get a high paying gig. Do you think when I go pitch these clients, I do mention certified, but you know what gets their attention even more? The screenshots of my performance from the ads manager when that ROAS is 8, 9 plus. Look at my LinkedIn for YRV. You'll see them. That's what impresses them. Do you know what else impresses them? The case studies, the testimonials. That's what, my friends, the certifications are just a cherry on the top. That's not what they're impressed with. They're impressed with your performance. And if you can't even put a shingle out the door and show some effort to really go out there and get certified, then, and guys, the meta blueprint process, it begins with you passing the test. It begins with you passing the test. That's when the meta blueprint process starts, folks. It's not when you study and all this stuff. It's after you pass. That's when the hard work starts, my friend. That's when you are working and you're like, why am I not winning? You have to be in there and you have to be pushing yourself. And please talk to me. Please reach out to me. If you have any meta blueprint, you're struggling. I'm a lonely guy, folks. Call me. Find me. I'm totally cool to be reached out to. And then again, it's job protection. Again, if heaven forbid you're at a point where you're at odds with your boss and he's at odds and it's manufactured, he's scared of his job or her job. Again, yeah, it's good to be certified because, man, at least you have that much over them. And I hate to say it like that, but it's true. Trust me, I've had so many jobs where that's happened to me. It's not a fun place to be. Follow my guides, follow my process. Again, we have videos from what is it to why you should do it to how to study to what happens after. And I need to do more what happens after. I think I need to do more videos on establishing your agency, what to do on Upwork, what happens when a client does this. I think that's probably where a lot of people are kind of dropping off or not doing this because, like I said, they think it starts with a test. No. It starts when you pass the test. That's when the hard work starts. That's nothing. Passing a test is nothing, folks. And then, of course, Upwork and side hustles. Really, so now I used to be so loyal to my companies I worked with. I used to be so loyal. I remember at my previous agencies, everybody had side hustles, all of them, and I wouldn't do it. I dedicated myself to my agency, and really, they paid me well, and I agreed with that. A lot of people didn't. How do I feel about that now? I still think I think I did well because it's too hard to do both. Because I think I did well, but I also put in so many hours, I couldn't afford it. I couldn't do a side hustle. Now, I mean, there's, a lot of these companies and big agencies now, it's almost like Saving Private Ryan. They just lay people off in droves, man. Like it's a battle, and it's sad, so you have to really protect yourself. You have to get an Upwork profile, get a Fiverr profile, or at least start a website and say you offer services, begin pitching. Who do you know that would be a cool person to work with? And to slowly start your own ads manager, start your own, get these people in there and slowly be an entrepreneur as opposed to sheep, right? At these big agencies, because unfortunately right now, a lot of it's people are just being laid off in droves. You really, it's really all about entrepreneurship and startups. And then another thing too is I've actually had some amazing comments on some videos where I commented And the one thing I see the most of is, we talked about being forced out. Do you know who the managers, the weak managers who keep, who they keep on? The weaker people who are all-stars, people who are really smart. It's at this point where they're kind of getting forced out because the managers are scared. And do you know who's left is like these weaker people? That's why a lot of these companies right now are having a hard time, because that's all that's left. All the good workers are out there starting their own businesses, my friends. And I'm not saying, hey, it's a hard haul. It's a very hard haul, but I think it's a good haul. It's a smart thing to do right now at this moment. So definitely. Anyways, I think that's a good place to stop. Let's have this discussion more. Reach out to me. I also started a WhatsApp group. Please, I can even put it below. Please add yourself. I may interview you a little. If we're doing like your agency's work, no, I am gonna keep track of the questions I get. We're not here to do your work, but if you have some good questions and you just don't know what the answer is, and in terms of buying or whatever, more than happy to help you. So that'll be linked below. It's a WhatsApp group. I also have our Medium articles as well as our podcast and LinkedIn. And again, I don't want us to be followers. I want us to be friends. And I really want to make sure that you're successful. I really want to make sure that all of us are successful, because we're all in this together. And, I really want to make sure that most of all that, in this economy, there's a lot of anxiety, and we're all in this together, whether, me because I'm a business owner, or you because you're at an agency or whatnot. So thank you so much. And I look forward to hearing from everybody. Thank you.